Alright, in this video we're going to be changing these guitar strings on a Kahler bridge, and today I'm going to be showing you step by step the cleaning process and also the string changing process. In this video you'll need a string winder, a 2.5mm wrench, fretboard oil of your choice, some string clippers or wire clippers, and this is optional, but you can also have some isopropyl alcohol in case you have to clean your frets off as well. And the first step here is we're going to loosen the locking nut at the top of your headstock. Some Kahlers do not have a locking nut at the top, but that's okay. Just make sure you loosen one if you have one. And then get your string winder, or by hand you can loosen up the strings. Just make sure you take the tension off of them. And once you have the tension loose, you want to make sure you do them to all of them. Make sure there is no tension on the bridge at all when you string your guitar. And when you want to make sure you clip off the curled ends of the strings, because it'll be really hard to get off at the locking nut. So make sure you clip them right at the end, and you'll have an easier access to get out. Once you have them all off, make sure you wrap all the guitar strings in a nice neat pile. You don't want anybody stepping on them or any pets stepping on them. Alright, and for this step, we're going to show you how to clean off the maple fretboard and as well as the body on this Fender. It's a self-explanatory step, but there are many products out there that you can try. And it's always good to experiment with different products because it took me a while to find a really good product that I wanted to stick with. And you want to make sure you use some microfiber cloths. As you can see, mine are pretty used up from doing this a lot. And you want to make sure you drop some generous amounts of oil of your choice onto the fretboard. It doesn't have to be F1 oil. It can be almost anything. But you just want to make sure you clean off your fretboard every other string changer, so it's very encouraging to do that. It just helps with keeping your strings clean and keeping off any dirt that's on the fretboard as well. And as you clean off the fretboard, you'll notice some black residue coming off on the rag. You want to make sure you rotate your rag every so often or every couple frets just to make sure you're not rubbing in any more dirt into the fretboard itself. And here's an optional step. You can take a socket and tighten up those tuning machines at the top of your headstock. I was surprised on how loose mine were, so after doing this, I feel like it will add a lot of improvement into tuning stability. And while you're at it, make sure you clean off any pick dust or other grime that's on the body there on the pick guard or the pickups. With a clean rag, you want to buff off any of the oil or wax that you put on your fretboard. Just make sure it's nice and clean. And with this product, this is a spray-on cleaner or polisher for the guitar body. You want to make sure you spray this on a rag and not directly onto the guitar itself, so you can avoid spraying into any pickups or electronics. So with any product of your choice that's for guitars, make sure it is for guitars. You don't want to use Windex or any of those other harsh chemical products. And to change the strings of the guitar, we're going to use a string winder and some wire clippers. I'm going to try out these 8.5 gauge strings. Right now on the guitar there's 9.5 gauge strings, but I just wanted to try out the 8.5 since I've never went that low before. So in this video I'm just going to try them out and do a demonstration on how to string up a Kahler, especially if you're alone, because it can be a little tricky. But once you get your pack of strings, you want to make sure you open them up and make sure your guitar is nice and level on a table or a flat surface. You don't want it rocking or you don't want it falling off or anything. So at the Kahler bridge, you can notice that when you want to put the ball end in there and you want to go up to the top and try to tighten it up, it has a tendency to fall out and slip out. So what I figured, I'd just get a piece of tape or a little weight and just tape it on to the bridge itself so it won't be able to fly around anywhere. And this will really help you when you're at the top of the headstock, tighten up the string. And at the top of the headstock, you want to shove in the string into the winder itself. And this is why it comes in handy to have a string winder, because doing this by hand will really tire you out. And they're very inexpensive. You can find them on Amazon for less than $1 for sure. So you want to give your string about 2 inches or 2 frets of slack. And then with your string winder, you want to wind them all at the same direction, because when you're tuning, you want to make sure they're all facing the right way. And also you want to put in some lead or some pencil shavings into the guitar nut itself, because this lubricates it. So if you're bending or if you're doing any solos or lead play, this just helps the string not crack or snap unexpectedly. And with the second ball end, you want to repeat the exact same step. Put the tape on there, shape it up to the ball end, go up to the top and tighten it up. And then just repeat this whole process for every single string until you are done. But also a friendly reminder, you want to make sure if you're using a lighter gauge string set like I am, you don't want to apply too much pressure onto the strings because they will snap. So just tighten them up until you feel them nice and tight. Do not tighten them up to pitch yet. You want to let them stretch out for a minute. I usually let mine sit for half an hour until I clean up my station, and then I come up to tune my guitar. And with the clippers, you want to clip off each string, being very careful not to drop any to the ground, and make sure you dispose of them correctly. And once they're done, you can use a free guitar tuner app, or you could use a headstock tuner, doesn't really matter. But for my preference, I like to use this guitar tuner because it shows you how far off you are from pitch. So you want to do this to every single string until you are done. And by that, you'll be all good to go. A Kahler bridge is one of my favorites of all time, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you liked the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys on the next video.